This is just an improv. It's kind of like a warm-up for my fingers, right? I'm not really playing anything melodic. I'm just kind of working my fingers out. I'm stretching. I'm getting ready for the run, right? So I'm doing some acrobatics right now. Practicing my bends, my vibrato. Right hand speed picking techniques. It's not very musical, but it gets my fingers into shape and gets them ready to play for hours on end. And it helps me fix my sloppiness because that should be totally cleaner than that. Oh well. But the more I do this, the better I get because I'm not struggling with trying to overanalyze and make sure I get the lick right. And you know, I happen to play cover songs because that's how I make a living, but I really like to just let myself go and like there's bands like Fish and Widespread Panic and all them out there, you know, amazing guitar players, and they don't play the same thing twice ever. Like you'll never go to a show and they'll play an identical set. It's always free flow. It's always in the moment. It's always about just being the music and letting the music flow, not trying to control it, because the muse will come through and it will surprise you sometimes on what comes out. So I try not to put too many limitations on myself or put myself in a cage. Of course, I've got to learn, you know, the main parts to the songs so that people will recognize them. But when it comes to soloing and playing, I play with a loop as a solo artist, so I need to keep that interesting for myself. If I just played the same sets over and over again, you know, the same exact way, it would get boring for me and I would not have any fun. So I have to keep this interesting for me. I've played over 4,000 shows, going on 5,000 shows. For a long time I've been a professional, and if I played the same songs over and over again, I would bore myself to death and I probably would have to go find another career. So I have to keep it interesting. That's one way that I do it. I just kind of like John Mayer says, play on the guitar like it's a jungle gym. And go through your techniques, you know? Run some octaves. And just scribble. My friend Jimmy back in Atlanta, Jimmy Mullins, amazing guitar player and just great guy. He was telling me about scribbling on the guitar. How fast can you go and just throw your fingers on the guitar and just make it. Doesn't have to be melodic, but just get your fingers pushing down the strings on the frets in time. You can do this to a metronome if you want. But just getting your fingers in shape and no tension. The less tension, the better. The only way that you're going to be able to play for hours at those speeds is completely relaxed. And so if you listen to Yngwie Malmsteen and all that speed, I'm not very good at the Yngwie stuff. Right? He does all of that with 9-gauge strings, sometimes 8-gauge strings maybe, on a scalloped fretboard on a Fender Stratocaster. So he's putting very little pressure on his fingers. And I used to play heavy gauge strings like 13s, 12s, 11s on my, 13s on my acoustics, 11s on my electrics. And Rick Beato was talking about string tensions and how you can still get fat tone out of like 8s. Rick Beato plays 8s. The problem I have with that is my picking hand. If I have too thick of a pick, I can't feel the strings. Like I need to feel something under my pick so I can have something to resist against it. So my speed is kind of dependent on the gauge strings that I have. So for right hand, heavier gauge strings are better for me. Sometimes thinner picks, it just depends on what I'm playing. And I never marry myself to one particular pick. There's different picks that I use. I use these nylon mediums. I use the Dunlop green ones. I have an endorsement with Clayton, so I have these Ninja Star picks. It's got my brand Jameson and my nonprofit MuseForChange.org if you want to find out more about that. But we inspire kids to pick up music instruments instead of video game controllers. But yeah, I have these picks are great for rhythm. James Hetfield from Metallica uses those sometimes. Of course, the John Petrucci Jazz 3s. Actually, this is the Eric Johnson Jazz 3 style. But then the John Petrucci is the little bit, it's a little bit bigger if you see that. This is a great pick as well. So depends on what I'm playing. And acoustic obviously is gonna have a different pick. Nylon string classical is gonna have a different style pick. Rodrigo y Gabriela is a big influence on me. And Rodrigo plays the Jazz 3s. He actually gave me his pick after a show. Actually, a friend of mine got it from him and he gave it to me. But he plays those little mini Jazz 3s on the classical flamenco. And if you listen to Rodrigo and Gabriela, they are amazing. And they have a lot. They got some amazing versions of Metallica, Orion, and check them out. Rodrigo y Gabriela, John Petrucci, James Hetfield, like all of these are great influences for me, and I could list many, many more. But I'm just grateful to be a part of the guitar community. I'm grateful to have been playing for 30 years, over 30 years, and to be still healthy. I actually injured my fingers and it broke my heart, and it made me stop playing for a while, but I was on a rope swing in Costa Rica, and I tore my ligaments in my fingers, so you can see my fingertips right there. They kind of curve to the inside. It's on my left hand too. And when that happened to me, like, it crushed me. I thought my guitar playing days were over, and I was super scared. And since then, when I look at my fingers, I can still see that bend, and it does something to my energy. It's something I have to live with, you know? So if you have healthy fingers, you know, another thing is I have short, fat, stubby fingers. So if you've got long, thin fingers, you know, you've got the best guitar playing fingers, be grateful. If you don't have any injuries to your hands, be grateful. You know, Django Reinhardt, there's other guitarists out there that have problems with their hands, but they still play because they know that it's not a matter of what it looks like, it's a matter of what it sounds like. And when you put your heart and soul into each note, you can just shut your eyes and not worry about those things. I've seen some guitar players that are just amazing shredders, and they've got problems with their right hand, like they're missing fingers, and there's birth defects going on, but they still play because they realize it's not about how perfect your fingers look when you're playing, it's about what comes out of the guitar. That's what I've learned to know, because that was something I struggled with when I injured my fingers. I was like, man, I was really sad and depressed for a long time, and eventually I just said, screw it, you know, I love guitar too much to quit, and I'm grateful that I did. Anyway, enough rambling about that. Play on your guitar like it's a jungle gym, like John Mayer says. Do some one string. Some Eddie Van Halen. Some Metallica. I'm not perfect with that stuff. You know, I'm not perfect in general. Like, there's a lot of amazing guitar players out there that are freaking just flawless. Like, you can see, I could name some names, but they have this technical proficiency and accuracy that I don't have. I could probably get better at that, but I don't. I'm more of a free flow jammer. I'm more of a, like, what's coming through. I do a lot of improv, songwriting sessions, freestyles. It's like a morning musical meditation. You'll see that on my channel, and I'm just having fun. You know, I'm not attached to the results. I really appreciate it when you do like and subscribe and leave a comment, but you know, it's not. I'm focused on just expressing myself authentically and putting something out there that will benefit other people. And you know, if in the end I end up with some subscribers, that's awesome. But I'm really grateful just to have an opportunity to express myself and talk about my guitar career. And I'm grateful for the donations. Like some of you guys, you know, there's a donation link, and obviously, and a link to some of my other endeavors, like my nonprofit and stuff like that. But I'm not attached to the results. I'm grateful to be here. I'm having fun, so I already won. Thank you for stopping by. See you soon. Peace.